Welcome to the Appeon 2016 product suite, in particular the Appeon WorkSpace installation for Appeon Mobile. As you can see from this diagram, mobile devices use the Appeon WorkSpace installed on it to provide a wrapper around the applications that you've actually built in PowerBuilder and deployed to the Appeon server using Appeon Developer. Appeon WorkSpace can be downloaded from a particular store, which we'll have a look at, or from a private server, in our case in this tutorial, the Appeon server itself. The benefits of running Appeon WorkSpace you can see on the top right hand side. Ease of distribution, ease of upgrading. You can maintain security parameters from your Appeon server that get administered on the mobile device. You can do debugging through the Appeon WorkSpace. You can do support for various mobile devices and cloud support. You can run your applications in a native mode. Appeon WorkSpace facilitates that so that your application can get access to hardware and low-level software features of that particular operating system. And so, of course, support for offline applications, which means you can have hosted a local database on the mobile device and have your apps update the local database. And then when your occasionally connected device gets connected to an enterprise network or through the internet, you can have that data automatically synchronized to a corporate database server, such as Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, ASE, just to mention a few. So what are the installation scenarios? The first one, of course, is you can use some kind of synchronization software, such as iTunes. In that case, you'll point the iTunes software to the install package for AWS, and then you'll click on the synchronize button, and that will upload that particular install file to your device. If you're on an Android device, you can actually just use a USB cable, and you'll be able to actually drag and drop that to the device. And I'm using Air Server here, which is an interesting piece of software that allows me to show either Android or Apple devices. So now you can see my screen. So if I sweep down from the top, you can see here that there's a notification, USB for charging. So if I touch that, another dialog comes up and says, hey, would you like to enable file transfers? So I'll just touch on file transfers. And I get a confirmation that my Nexus 9 tablet that has actually allowed me to do file transfers. And that you can see here, I can always sweep down from the top again and hit the notification, and I can change that to, just photos or just charging or whatever. So at this point, I've enabled transfers, and I would be able to actually go to my file manager and just drag the install file onto the device and then run it from there locally. So that is another option. So now we're just on charging mode because I'm going to show you the air mode. So let's just return here to our slides and have a look at other deployment options first. You can deploy directly from a store, such as the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. And the Appeon WorkSpace install file is hosted on either one of those. You can also use mobile device management software, such as AirWatch, AMTEL, SmartMan, Exeter, and if you use Google, I'm sure you can find others out there. Or you can use the over-the-air deployment, which was also available in an early release such as Appeon 2015. However, there's been a manual approach, which we'll show you, and also a new QR code approach that can be read directly from the device. So this is what we're going to use in this particular tutorial here, the over-air deployment. And these are the steps that we'll need to do to be able to achieve that. In this tutorial, we're focused on the developer's PC. And we need to go through these steps in order to get Appeon WorkSpace installed, configured. And once we have that, we'll show you how to actually attach an application that you built in PowerBuilder that to Appeon WorkSpace and actually run it. And even the new QR feature. Microsoft Windows considerations. Let's have a look at those. So what you'll need to do here is you'll need to launch your command DOS window and type in the command ipconfig, because you want to be able to see on your development machine, the Appeon server, what is the IP address. And you can see it here at the top, the address 192.168.0.188. That's my particular machine here that I'm using for development. So now I know the IP address. The next thing that you'll need to do is you'll need to be able to actually bring up the control panel. By the way, you may have noticed that I'm actually running Windows 10 here for this tutorial. In the control panel, we can go to Windows Firewall, And you need to go to turn Windows Firewall on and off. That was probably turned on when you first came in here. You'll have to make sure you turn the firewall off. Unless, of course, you've gone to the firewall and you've registered the IP addresses of your mobile devices. But this is easier to just turn this off momentarily. You can then turn it back on later on. So turn your firewall back off. So the Windows considerations now are complete. Now you need to be able to connect to the Appeon server from your mobile device. So for this step, I'm just going to return again back to Air Server. And I can just tap on the browser. It'll launch the browser here. And we can see whether that particular web address, which is going to be http:// you can see whether this is going to actually work. 192.168.0.188. And at this point, my IIS on my developer PC responds. So this is great. We know at this point that the mobile device is communicating properly. So now what we need to do is we need to talk to another piece of software running inside of IIS called the Appeon Enterprise Manager, or AEM for short. So you notice here I just type in /AEM, tap on Go, and there is the actual console that's used to manage the Appeon server. I don't need to log in at this point. You'll notice in newer versions of Appeon that within the login area, there is a click here to download the Appeon workspace. So this is what we're going to do in this tutorial. I'm just going to tap on click here, and you'll see what happens. Now there's a download for the Appeon workspace work screen. You can see here if you're on an Apple device, you just use the download on the left-hand side. If you're on an Android like I am, you just tap the download Android flavor. Now before you do this, we should come back to note here that for Android, it won't trust. In fact, even Macintosh devices or Apple devices in general, iPad, iPhone, and that typically they only trust known sources. On the Apple device, it's either the App Store or iTunes. On the Android device, you could have actually brought it down from the Google Store, which would be fine. That's a trusted source. But with File Manager or this Air way of doing it, there could be a problem with unknown sources. So we need to basically address that first before we actually install the package. So let me go back here to the screen capture. And I'll just minimize that particular dialog at the moment. We'll put it away. And I'll go here to my settings just to show you here about this particular tablet that I'm running a Nexus 9 and I have the latest Android operating system installed, 6.01. I'm going to return back here and select the security tab that you see here. Just tap on that. And then we need to go down here to entry called unknown sources. And that's probably unchecked when you first come in here like this. So you need to tap on that. You're going to get a warning. Hey, this could expose your device to applications that are not trusted. But at this point, we do trust Appeon, at least we hope we do, and we're just going to hit OK here. Now this can be turned off later on once the Appeon workspace is installed, but we need to do this momentarily. Now I'll flip back here to my browser. I'll select the download button. And you can see here that I've actually downloaded the Appeon workspace before at the install file. Well, I'll just choose replace file. And you can see a downloading notification in the top left. You actually can see the download in progress. So this is working just great. This will take a few seconds on a very high speed network, or if you have a low speed network, it could take up to a minute or two. And here we go. Notification that the actual install file has been downloaded. Now at this point, just sweep down from the top with your finger and you can actually see the package download complete notification sitting there. So if I just tap on that, and then it says Appeon Mobile workspace is about to install, and then it'll tell you the device features that it's going to access. You'll get a warning that, for example, if the PowerBuilder application that's running on the mobile device accesses your phone dialer and dials somebody, yes, this may cost you something. But of course, That's something that not necessarily has to be implemented within your PowerBuilder application. It's just a warning that the Appeon Workspace needs to provide this access just in case your application uses that feature. So I'm just going to select Install at the bottom here, and it's installing Appeon Mobile to the device. Then again, this may take anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds up to a minute or two, depending on the speed of the particular Android device that you're using. And there we go. The Appeon Workspace has been installed. And at this point, you can choose Open to run it. I'm just going to select Done in this particular case. And I'm actually going to close my other tasks that are running, go back to the Android desktop. The reason I want to do that is I just want to bring up here the system console. And you can see now towards the top left-hand side that Appeon Mobile, Appeon Workspace has been installed. That's the big blue circle that with the A inside of it. What I really want to do for convenience sake is I want to put this on my desktop. So I'm just going to tap and hold on that, and then I can drag that to wherever I like it on my desktop. And there we go. Appeon Mobile has now been installed to the desktop as well. So now I don't have to keep going to the system console to go find it and load it. I can just tap on it whenever I want. And there we are, Appeon Workspace. So what we need to do now is we need to actually install an application. And you can see here that we have an area here called Add Application. So that should be easy to do just by tapping here. So I'm going to do that. And we also know, for example, that our address is 192.168.0.188. And I can type in / and, for example, one of the applications that I've deployed. I'm going to choose sales here for the first one because that's one of the demo applications that you would be asked to install. I would say that this is a great idea to do because it allows you to test out do some sanity checking, make sure everything's okay from the PowerBuilder side, from the Appeon website, and of course from the Appeon mobile side. So I'm just going to say, hey, does this work? And you can see it works fine. So there's the URL to actually load it. And you can just hit the top left-hand button here, which is go back. And you can actually see the application being brought down from the Appeon server. And you can see the description. It's the sales app demo application. And it's going to display customers' orders and product information. And there's the icon associated with it. So if I just tap on the $, we actually see the demo application working. We can hit the login. And for example, we can run a customer report. You see here the data is flowing, in this case from a corporate database. It's flowing through the Appeon server, through the web server back over to the device. And the device is basically what you're looking at is a data window, and that data window buffer comes into the device, and of course it gets displayed here in the Appeon Workspace equivalent data window. We have pull-down menus, we have toolbars available to us for this application, so everything looks to be running fine. So you can play with that, make sure it works okay. But that's very successful at this point. So I'm just going to choose File Exit here and close the application. So there's the old way of doing it. That's the manual way of doing it. If you want to add another one, you know, so there's a plus sign at the top left-hand side. Hit plus. And again, we can do the same thing. HTTP, the IP address of your server / the actual web root name of your application. There's a new way to do it, of course, which is what we call the QR code here in Appeon 2016. So for this one here, I'm just going to show you that if we were to, I'm going to actually pick up my tablet here in a second, but we'll be able to use this QR code that you see here at the end of the HTTP edit line. Before you do that, and I'm going to bring up the web browser here, and I'm actually going to log in to the Appeon Enterprise Manager. I'm going to scroll down here in this console to mobile app distribution, click on Applications. The address here is for your server, which is going to be 192.198.0.188, unless of course it has a proper name, which is fine if there's an entry for it in the DNS tables. Another app that I've built in another tutorial, which is Word Search. So I'll choose that just to get another one. You see we've already got the sales application down to the mobile device. This one I'm going to add is Word Search. So you notice here I just type in my IP address or server name, select the applications that I would like to have a QR code, in this case Word Search, and you get an actual code up and running on the screen. So you can download that and you can email it. You can copy it to the clipboard, or in this case, I just need it up on the screen somewhere. And now I'm going to go back to my device. So now I'll show you what's on my device. So what I'm going to tap here on the right-hand side is this QR code icon. And that will then activate my camera. So if I just tap on that, you can see here, there's the actual camera. So I'm just going to minimize this screen, and so it sees the QR code. So I'll bring back my air server here, and you can see here this is automatic. It just came down without typing anything at that point. And then all I have to do is tap the red brick here, and we can run this little sample application. For example, we have menus, so I can go open. And would you like to basically bring in the form from the database? Yes, it is. This is a word search application game. So these are the words that were built already. And now you can see from the menu here, what I'd like to be able to do is fill that up with random characters. And then I probably want to print that to my local printer, because what I'm interested in doing at this point is actually printing this out and then giving this to my friends so that they can try and find the hidden words here like Power Builder or Appeon. That inside here they can circle it. So this is a great little game kids to build and share with their friends. So this is working fine, so I'll just hit the exit button here. You notice the close query works fine. And we're back to the Appeon workspace. By the way, you can customize the Appeon workspace. You can go to settings here, for example, general settings, and take the workspace banner off. So now you can see here, we don't have to have that advertising floating around the top. In more advanced tutorials later on, you'll be able to actually see where you can actually customize this whole dialog so it looks exactly like a corporate look and feel versus having the name Appeon Workspace at the top. But that's for a more advanced series. But for right now, we've done our job. We've got Appeon Workspace there. We've shown you actually how to add applications and run them. So this is looking just great. All right. So congratulations. You've successfully now installed, if you follow my steps, Appeon Workspace. And I've shown you how to add applications and test them in Workspace as well. And I hope you enjoy it, and thanks for watching.